Because I've got a few more minutes, but
Yeah.
let's talk about this Netflix experiment really quickly.
Oh yeah. So it's this situation where Netflix was essentially looking to experiment with how people consume content, and what they were sort of planning to do, what they were planning to test out is having people having the option to watch shows or movies either on 2 times speed or 3 times speed or whatever the case is. Much like, I know if you listen to any podcasting apps, hopefully you are since you're listening to the show, you can fast forward through it. Let me get your thoughts before
I do think for older series, right? Like Parks and Rec is a show that I love to watch, but I just know that for me to dedicate the time it's going to take to every episode of the many seasons in that show, I just couldn't do it. Now, much like some of the podcasts I listen to with like the feature to like listen to it in an accelerated pace, if I could watch Parks and Rec and it would just be slightly faster than a normal episode, I would be interested in that because it would give me the opportunity to watch the show without the pressure of dedicating so much time to it.
Yeah. This is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. And
you think so?
Here's the reason why. It's different when you're talking about something like podcast or like audiobooks, those type of things, because the way you consume it isn't contingent on
like the visuals.
Yeah, like you're not there's like the faster you consume the content, like sure there may be things content wise that you might miss maybe, but you're still, it doesn't matter how somebody says something, it doesn't matter, like it doesn't change materially how you can consume the thing. With films and shows, absolutely. If you put something on 2 times speed, there are subtleties that you're gonna fucking miss. Imagine if I watched I'm trying to think of a really dramatic movie that they're like really like a long some drawn out sort of acting, like the only one that's coming to mind for whatever reason is Raging Bull, right? Mm-hmm. If I watched Raging Bull on 2 times speed, there's so many little subtleties that I'm going to miss because it's on 2 times speed that I'm just simply not going to get. Suddenly I'm watching a different movie.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
I think this only works for shows, right?
Even shows though. Even shows. There's subtleties within shows, right? Imagine watching
Friends. You could watch Friends at an accelerated speed.
Something, absolutely.
Yeah.
Something
Parks
like,
and Rec. The Office.
Something like Friends, right?
You can watch The Office.
There are certain shows that I think are less dependent on these very subtle moments, but even them sometimes, yes, sometimes these subtle moments are important, but they're not a main aspect of the show.
Yeah.
But I think broadly speaking, you are changing the content if you change that specific aspect. And people sort of related this to like, oh, well, what if somebody you can fast forward through a film? Yeah. No shit. Like, yeah, of course you can fast forward through it, but you're not consuming the content.
Yeah,
as
when
you're
fast forwarding, you're not getting the audio. You're not able to like listen to what they're saying.
Exactly, and you're not tricking yourself into thinking you're consuming the content. You know, I fast forwarded through this section of.
You're essentially skipping it. Right?
Exactly.
This option doesn't allow you to skip it. Just listen and watch it at an accelerated pace. I don't think this is a bad idea. Terrible idea. I would love to be able to test it, like to watch like an episode of The Office and see if it's different.
No. My full confidence is that as you're doing it, it'll be fine. But the problem is you won't know what you've missed.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know.
Like you'll watch it and you'll be like, oh, I consumed that thing. Moving on to the next. And then and this is lesser extent, like I this is just me getting on my soapbox. It's like I don't think you should be able to do that. Meaning that like slow down. Like because you can watch 5,000 shows within a span of a month time doesn't mean you should. Like sure there's a lot of content that we do want to get to, but also just slow down, motherfucker. Like, like there's a reason why you shouldn't watch all of that content.
And if you have to watch it at an accelerated pace, like
the battle might be lost.
Maybe you just shouldn't watch it. Maybe you should read a book. Watch something that you actually care about watching, like at normal speed and understanding and appreciating. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I think for some people it might make sense, but it's not like, if this was, hey, this is our big new feature that we're going to use to continue to compete against like Disney Plus and Apple TV Plus, this is not a winner.
Yeah. Let's maybe we wrap up with